Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Zoe. Studying abroad is a dream of youngsters. And the US and the European countries are top 2 destinations. But you'll be surprised by today's article, knowing that the US and European colleges or institutions are no longer Asians' first choice. So the article is from Financial Times, which talks about the tendency that the wealthy Asian families send their children to Asia's top-ranked university instead of seeking after US or European institution. Wealthy Asian families are increasingly sending their younger generations to study at homegrown universities, as the region's powerful economies present great opportunity for business connections and business expansion.Homegrown is something grown or produced locally. 本土本地的 Its scale depends on the context. The subject in our sentence is Asian families. Therefore, homegrown universities refers to Asian universities. Homegrown tomatoes or artists. 本地的西红柿或者是本土的艺术家。考虑到区域经济的连接和扩张，亚洲的富有家庭越来越多的让孩子去上亚洲的排名高的大学。Where once rich dynasties favored American and European establishments for their children's undergraduate and postgraduate studies. Advisors report that many are now opting for the highly ranked universities in mainland China, Hong Kong, and wider Asia-Pacific region. The number of applications for HKUST's Masters of Science in Finance program this year was double the pre-pandemic level, with many now coming from mainland China.A favors B in a context is A prefers B. For example, the father favored his younger son, or chances favor the prepared minds. 在上下文当中 favor 的意思是偏爱。And another thing I want to point out is was double the pre-pandemic level. I think it might be grammatical incorrect, because if double is seen as an adjective, there shouldn't be an object after an adjective. But if you treat it as the verb, it should be was doubled or just double the pre-pandemic level. Any thoughts on that? So you may find that people with similar backgrounds from all those wealthy families, children studying together and becoming classmates. This become 关系, a connection. People actually value this a lot, especially in Asian context.Youngsters from the same sphere study together, which lays the ground of building or reinforcing the connections among the riches. 那么富人的孩子在一起学习，为将来的各种关系打下了基础。Hong Kong's low tax rates are a further attraction for global families. Meanwhile, Singapore remains a hotspot following in the influx of Chinese investors during the pandemic. Even though the city-states recently doubled its property tax for foreigners, it's particularly appealing to wealthy Chinese families, wish their second and third generations to gain overseas residencies and passports.Many wealthy parents will factor in where their family businesses are based and where they plan to expand their business footprint. An influx of 又出现了，上周刚见过什么什么的大量涌入。那除了香港，新加坡也是留学投资的热点，即便它已经加倍了对外国人的财产税。Gain overseas residencies and passport， 拿到海外的居住权和护照。Factor 这里是做动词了。The collocation is factor in, meaning take something important into consideration or include something. Before you accept this job offer, you need to factor in how long the commute is. 接受这个 offer 之前呢，要把通勤的时间考虑进来。在考虑孩子上学地的时候，家长会把未来生意发展的路径也包括进去。Trust structures domiciled either overseas or in the region are especially beneficial if a child tends to stay in or even relocate to a place where he or she is studying. It can be set up if the parent is wealthy enough and they just want to set aside a certain big lump sum for the benefit of the child. Trust structures, 信托机构。Domicile is the place where you live. It's pretty much like the concept 籍贯 in Chinese.So nationality, 国籍 residency, 居住 domicile, 的户籍所在地 Why they matter for families with global assets. Set aside has 2 usages. One is to save it for a special use. For example, church ready to set aside 10 billion fund for victim. 留作什么什么之用 The other is reject. They set aside a belief or a principle or a feeling. 把这些感觉信仰什么放在一边，不被它影响。For instance, Firms set aside differences to fix up airports. 搁置分歧开始维修机场。A lump sum 是一个固定搭配，是一次性的付款。比如说 He received a lump sum payment for winning the lottery. Or I would like my allowance in a lump sum. 一次性把零花钱给我。Set aside a big lump sum. 留一整笔的钱给孩子。There are stages to getting residency, through graduating from a degree program, to working in a company, willing to sponsor your employment path, and eventually your residency. Many current generations understand there is a process, and the earlier that the children start the integration process, the better. 在这段很简单啊，要获得居住权越早计划越好。Do you have any plan to emigrate to other countries? If the answer is yes, which country is your preferable one? Please leave a comment in the section down below. And this is Headlines. I'll see you next time.